also, you know, so I'm 2 days on with LoopNet, 2 days over here with residential. I'm just on and off with both of them because I see with the LoopNet, you can easily just send out emails and see when they hit back on there.
Yeah, you can just blast all that list source. You can blast a lot of stuff. But what you want is like the hack we got. I got off 10 off the hack we got, messing around on Crexy and stuff. So I used on a couple of things. I'm hit list source today with it. But let's get them brokers that give you stuff. And like I said, Ben had a situation where me and Ben had found something, and he found the property, the same portfolio I gave him that was $2 million lower. So you got to cross-reference that shit. Make sure that the deals you got is solid, that too many brokers ain't got it. Because if one broker got it, 9 times out of 10, a bunch of brokers got it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find that price point where okay, it's solid. This is the one I want to present. So it's a lot of shit. Let's get to this. Hey, man, come on, man. Come on, let's get to this, baby. Me and Kevin just chopped it up, and y'all ain't saying nothing. What's going on today, baby?
I'm letting you lead in, coach. Hey, you're dropping some nuggets, dude. I'm gonna let Jamal drop these, bro. I've seen your growth over the past several months, man. It's tremendous. And just the consistency in the market, bro. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes, bro. Straight up.
Hey, may I ask this real quick before you get started? You get started in. Hey, so we only just focus on multifamily unit or, hotels or what? Everything?
Good question, man. So over the past 18 months, Investor Syndicate, right, as it sits, has kind of like molded and evolved across the board. We started off solely focused on single family real estate, and that was it, right? Because we had relationships with all the big institutions and hedge funds. And when we were printing money, right, when interest rates were at a record low and, money was just very abundant, right? Economy was booming. Dude, we're literally day trading houses, selling them at like 100% ARV, 110 in some cases, right? In these big markets. Right. And then the Fed starts hiking interest rates, right? And it literally just flipped the market, flipped the economy on its back. And it challenged us, right? I mean, you look around the streets, dude, everyone's feeling it. Everyone's feeling the ramifications of the market, right? The news says we're not in a recession, but we're clearly in a recession, bro. We're more than a quarter of the year of negative GDP, right? But anyways, what it forced us to do was evolve, right? And I want to really kind of focus our intention on the word of evolution today, right? It's kind of just a word that came up literally just now. Because as we venture into a new year, new season, new opportunities, it's important to go in there with a battle-tested mindset, right? And this is a perfect example, seeing where we've come over the past 6 months. Dude, we've had to flip our script and flip our focus from what was hitting, right? Now, we're still wholesaling some houses, but deal volume, right? We're going from 20, 30 deals a month to 3 or 4, 5, right? Like our volume ain't great. Full transparency on the wholesale side, right? For single family. However, it challenged us to really dig in our heels. And I was just listening, dude. Like I'm a spiritual person. I believe God, right? And just like, where are you leading us, right? And what are you saying, right? And I'm just really leaning in, listening to that still small voice. And it just kept on resonating, like, think bigger, think bigger. And then Jason, you guys all know Jason Bobo. He's our head acquisitions manager. Dude is a beast. He's a beast, right? And he had a word. He said, dude, I keep on hearing it. It's been a couple weeks now. And he's like, we need to cast our nets to the other side. And I'm like, well, what does that mean, bro? Like, what does that mean? And we're still figuring out what it means, right? But what it challenged us to do was really lean in, right? Well, it just so happened that one of the big institutions that we're trading single family houses has a big like the parent company is one of the biggest capital groups and organizations in the world, right? But they buy multifamily assets, right? So we're able to tap into that. And that was like the first relationship and connection that we established in the multifamily space. And over the past 6 months, it's just been digging in, building, cultivating relationships. Now, we haven't closed a ton of deals. We've only got one done so far, right? But we have a lot of high-level relationships, and we're learning, growing, and evolving because our ultimate goal is to be able to put some of these assets under management, right? So like
Right,
you're seeing us just sprouting out of the ground floor with the multifamily deals, which is, it's a new ballpark for us. But what better way to open up that curtain, right, than to document the process? You know, I'll be the
It's
first one
funny
to
you
tell
said
you.
that though, bro. It's funny you said that, man. Not to be just throwing my stuff to the wind. I recently got a spot to go on Roku TV, January 7th. So I'll be on Roku
Boom.
TV. Got my own national spot 4 days or four times a month. And then to tell you, I'm starting to get these bigger deals. They don't always fit. I'm not gonna feel like everything's fit. But
Yeah.
like I ain't gotta go look for them no more. Now they looking for me, and that's a blessing, you know. But I think
Yes.
what he just said, when God telling you to move, you gotta move with him. You got to
move.
move with him. So I didn't even know I was gonna get the spot. I contacted the brother, and he said, "Well, I've been watching your content. I see what you're doing. You need to get your information out to a bigger audience." So
Let's
Ben,
go.
I'm with you on everything, man. I'm moving with God myself, and I got to send you Tampa. The South Carolina deal is still open on the Boca Home Park down there.
Yeah.
Price drop too, so I'll send everything to you after the meeting. Vernice,
Love
let's get the stuff sold in Mobile, Alabama too. Let's get that shit moved. I got you.
Let's get it. Let's get it. So I love that, bro. Like, look at that. You don't know exactly where you're moving or where you're shaking, but you're putting one step in front of the other, right? Trusting there's something big on the horizon, right? I'm not going to be paralyzed by fear. I'm not going to allow a restricting economy or anything else or outside forces or even that voice inside of my head that's telling me I can't do it, right? Because we all got that voice. We got the voice of reason, the voice that's rooting for us, that's, hey, step out in faith. You can do anything that you set your mind to, right? If you believe in your heart that it's true, it's already yours. And then you got this voice on the other side that's like, bro, you'll never amount to it, right? You can't play at that level. To think that you can go in there and trade and, you know, get in multifamily deals and own apartment buildings, bro, you don't come from that cloth, you know, bro, right now, we need to train our minds, right? To listen to that voice of faith, right? To listen to that higher frequency, because we got a mess of noise right now coming in, right? The media, what do you think the media and the news, what is the main agenda? It's to keep us in fear and paralyzed, right? So we remain a victim to the system. We're not going to go down a deep rabbit hole, but it's all about control, right? So if you control the narrative and you control what people think and what they view, well, it keeps them in a place of captivity, which is right where they want you, right?
I agree.
It's called brainwash. So we got to unbrainwash ourselves.
It's it, dude, straight up. We have to unbrainwash ourselves, right? So right now, as we're venturing into a new season with new opportunities, instead of getting caught up in the cluster and even trying to just dig down deep and look for the deal flow, there's times that we have to detach ourselves and take a step back from the situation, right? A time to reflect, to refresh and refine our mind, right? Because without a clean palette, you're not going to have a clear vision of where you're going, right? There's always going to be mixed messages and distortion and anything else. You got to be able to clear the chaos out of your head. And the only way that you do that is getting in a quiet place, right? Getting in a place where you can meditate, read, set and write down your goals. Where are you going? Where do you plan to go in the next 12 months, right? Now, 12 months is a pretty broad way to look at it, right? The goal is to see big and begin with the end in mind, right? So Trevor Mock, I don't know if you guys know Trevor Mock of Investor Carrot, but he's like their website's probably the go-to website for real estate investors in the space, right? And they built a powerhouse out of it, right? Where I look back at it now and where technology's evolved, I mean, there's CRMs that have websites and automations and phone numbers and everything built in for the same price that Carrot offers, but just their value proposition and the way that they position in the marketplace, it's incredible. But at the end of every year, Trevor Mock does a goal setting and a vision planning workshop that for 3 years straight I attended, right? And it's all this stuff is regurgitated, right? It's stuff that you see in leadership organizations and stuff across the board, but you want to begin with the end in mind, right? So vividly picture, where do you want to be in 10 years from now, right? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What smells are in the air, right? Where are you at? who are you around, right? And what does that look like? You want to just get that vision in your head, right? Almost like get in a place of visualization for those of you that believe in visualization, right? Write it down, man. Take an hour or two just to write in your journal or write on a piece of paper, like exactly what that looks like. And don't sell yourself short or, restrict what you want. Like just get very clear and write it down on a piece of paper so you have that. And once you have that lengthy where you want to be, then you can start to break it down and compress it into smaller bite-sized chunks, right? Break it down into a 5-year plan, 3-year plan, right? And then once you have 3 and 1 years, then you can really get intentional. Okay, all of these big ideas and big dreams on where I want to go, let me break these down and figure out the top 3, right? What are the top 3 ideas, goals, and ambitions that I really want to work on over the next year, right? Is it getting more deal flow in my real estate business? That can be one, right? Is it being more intentional with my spouse or being a better father or parent, right? Is it, get very clear, but don't load up your plate with so many goals that you're never going to attain any one of them, right? Because you're trying to eat and digest the whole elephant, right? You're trying to take it all in at once. And therefore you become paralyzed, right? There's an old leadership saying that I think John Maxwell, he either made it up or I just heard it through him, but John Maxwell talks about the lion trainer. Whenever the lion trainer steps into a lion den, right? He's got a firearm at his hip, right? In case he's got to use it. But the most important tool that lion trainer enters the lion's den with is a stool, a 4-legged stool. Because they say that if the lion starts to get aggressive and come at the lion trainer, he simply has to lift up the stool, right? And then put it in the lion's face. And what happens is the lion tries to focus on all 4 legs at once, and it becomes paralyzed, literally becomes paralyzed and stop dead in its tracks because it's trying to focus on all 4 objects. So our vision is very much the same, right? Where we're trying to take on too many big deals and opportunities that we accomplish absolutely nothing because our vision is paralyzed, right? It's kind of like analysis paralysis. We're trying to learn all the new latest marketing techniques and asset classes, and single family is great, but a multifamily sounds good. And we're scatterbrained and we're all over the place. And guess what? As a result, we accomplish absolutely nothing. So the importance of breaking down your big, huge, hairy, audacious vision and compressing it into something smaller, right? And then just taking out the top 3 ideas and goals that you want to focus on this year. And I say this year, but think about the year. To literally plan out 12 months from now, it's a long freaking time. I'm going to be honest, right? There's a really good book. It's called The 12-Week Year. I'm going to put it in the chat. 12-Week Year. This book is a game changer. For those of you that are avid readers, open this thing up, right? And he talks about, a lot of goal setting and mindset type of stuff. But he says, look, 12 months is a long time, right? And it's good to be intentional. It's good to set your goals and really plan out what you want to accomplish and put first things first, right? Identify those most important tasks that you want to accomplish. But he claims that if you compress that into a 12-week year, which is a quarter, right? That 12 weeks is 3 months, that you could literally accomplish in that time frame as much as most people accomplish an entire year.
That's what's up.
But you have to be intentional with it, right? You start big, right? Big vision. Where do I want to be in the future? And then you start to compress it into something a little bit smaller, and then once you have your full year at a scope and you got your top 3 ideas or things that you want to go after, well, let's go ahead and put these on the paper and let's game plan for the next 12 weeks and figure out how we can hammer out and tackle these dreams, right? To really break it down, that's my best way of translating the way that I look at and the way that I game plan when I'm going into a new season, right? So right now, instead of getting caught up in the chaos and the hamster wheel, as I call it, right? Just spinning, 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 spinning. We get caught up so much inside of our business, trying to build a business, right? That we become a slave. We become a rabbit or a freaking a mouse or a rat spinning on a freaking
wheel. I got you.
right. And you're getting nowhere because you're doing the same damn thing over and over and over again, thinking it's going to continue to produce results. But the skill sets that brought you.
On Neville Goddard, he got a big one. Neville Goddard got one that I listen to constantly called wealth consciousness, right? So I used to be the guy to write in the notebook, I'm a millionaire all the way down, right? But if your mindset ain't geared to that statement, it's not going to stick. So you have to have the set called wealth consciousness. So every 5 minutes a day, and I have alarms for it that's set up, that I just say wealth and success. I don't make it broad. I make wealth and success. I'm making my brain comprehend what I'm asking for. I am a millionaire. Yeah. When you think about it, that's a large spectrum. That's a very, very large spectrum. But if you put your mind to understand smaller things first, or the term, my best friend told me, great contract. He told me this all the time. Jamal, throw your stone when you can reach it. Throw your stone, walk a little further, pick it up. Throw it again, walk a little further, pick it up. But that's building wealth consciousness. So like Ben is saying, you can do all of this stuff and be busy and be smart and all of that, but you have to set parameters in your mind or shift your paradigm. That's the word I wanted. Paradigm shift. You have to shift paradigms where your brain understand what you're going for, no matter if it's a negative vibe against you. Okay, I didn't get that deal, but I know I'm going to get one. I'm going to go this way, but I know I should be going that way. You have to set your mind to accomplish the small things that will catapult you to the big things. Yes. Remember that term, y'all. Wealth consciousness is very, very important.
Huge. That's big, right? And repetition, right? Because our mind is a muscle, right? And so the only way that we're going to pattern interrupt to the point that it literally carves out new grooves inside of our mind, right? To get away from old habits, to get away from old ways of thinking. The only way that we're going to pattern interrupt is by doing it over and over and over and over again, right? And not everything, not all the things you want to achieve, but those top 3, right? Or whatever your affirmations, whatever patterns you want to ingrain in your mind, right? I am wealthy, I'm successful, I'm, an amazing parent, amazing father, whatever your top things that you want to focus on. There's a cool app that's called, what is it called? Think Up. And you can literally record your affirmations onto the app, right? So some mornings when I wake up, I just throw in my earbuds and it reads back your voice that's speaking to you, right?
Oh.
And then it just in patterns, right? It reads through the whole thing and then it recycles again, over and over again, right? And we're literally convincing our minds, right? We're convincing our minds that it's true because we're rewiring the patterns inside of our mind, literally, right? To think on a higher frequency. And to do that, we got to break some of the very, very deeply ingrained thoughts, beliefs, and old paradigms, right? Yeah, paradigms that we've held on to and had since we were very, very young, right? Like kids between the age of 0 and 5, their minds are a sponge, right? It's so malleable that they take in everything that they're fed, right? Like not only words, but brain waves. Like the thoughts that a parent is thinking when a very young child is growing up, that child is literally receiving like the frequencies into their mind, right? Like it goes that deep. It's deep, right? So just understanding the power of your thoughts, the power of your mindset. And once you're able to really hunker down and seek clarity, that's when things start to happen. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like I found in my life, when I try to force things, when I step into my day with a hustle mentality, like let me push through things and break shit, bro, I don't get nothing done, right? You can't force the process, man. One of my favorite things to talk about, I say you cannot microwave success. You can't, right? You cannot microwave success, and you also can't force it, right? You can't force God's hand. So sometimes you just got to step out and you got to abide. You just got to be. You got to abide in God's presence. You just got to be there be willing, right? And be receptive to what the message, right? To what you're receiving, listening to that still small inner voice. That's the only way we're going to break through it, right? So that's my mindset lesson for today, right? That's kind of
that's
yeah.
good that you had said that though, Ben, because earlier today I probably woke up around about 3 or 4 this morning. After I finished doing what I had to do, probably around about 7 or 8 o'clock, I just went back in, look over my goals, and went back in and just readjust everything. Like, what can I hit within these weeks, this month, this quarter? You know, the
Yes.
middle of, you know, I'm making sure I'm really doing it quarter by quarter right now.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, like I said, you can't eat an elephant all at one time. You got to eat it piece by piece for real.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah.
Shantine, I see you got a question. What's up?
Okay, so I made an error. I didn't have a question. I love everything that you just stated. I appreciate that knowledge. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm
I
gone.
love that stuff. More than real estate, I love personal development. It's saying a lot to say I like something more than real estate, right? Because real estate's a vehicle that's changed my life. It has, right? So I don't know how many of you guys know my story. 2014 was like my second chance, my new beginning. I got released from prison October 6th, 2014. Right. So fast forward the track. Time flies. I guess I've been out for about 8 years now. It's flown, right? It's gone by freaking quick. But the amount of opportunities that have been presented, right, in that small window of time, incredible, right? Like if
that's God moving, man. It's God.
Yeah. If you told me 5 years ago that I would be where I am now, I would tell you you're freaking crazy, right? Like sometimes I'll drive into my neighborhood just like, holy cow. I used to take the kids trick-or-treating in our neighborhood, right? Just like, these people, like, you know, but we just found a really great deal, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. But where I'm going with that is with laser sharp focus and with intention, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And it doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter what you've done, right? But it does matter the action that you're willing to take today that's going to lead you to where you want to be tomorrow, right? It's easy to talk about it, right? But to put your head down, to wake up every single morning, even on the mornings that you don't feel like it, even when it might be painful to get out of bed, right? You're grunting, you might have had bad dreams or whatever, and you're stepping out like, you got to figure out how to flip the switch, right? Flip the switch and get yourself into the right mindset, right? Get yourself into a powerful mindset where you can operate and think and be on a higher frequency, right? Mm-hmm. Like understanding like frequency and waves, like radio waves and the way that we think, right? There's different levels of frequency, right? Different levels, right? Napoleon Hill talks about it in like the Think and Grow Rich, right? With like being able to access infinite intelligence. There's a book called Power versus Force, right? Where he literally like breaks it down on a scientific level, talking about different frequencies, right? And just understanding, like, telling you guys, the more that you can work on if you work on yourself harder than you work on your business or at your job, if you look back 3 years from now, you're going to realize how far you've come, right? And I know you guys have heard this part. Most people will accomplish less in a year. How does it go? Most people will accomplish less than they think they could accomplish in a year, but they'll accomplish way more than they thought possible in 5 years. I didn't nail that perfectly, right? But it's easy to like look at where you are now, right? Like myself, perfect example. I'm going to be fully transparent. The past month until about halfway through last week, your boy was kind of like in a depressed state. I'm going to be honest. Like the market turned, the whole way that our business was operating turned, deal flow slowed down. There's been some slow months, right? I mean, we're still buying houses, got some we bought a rental 2 weeks ago. We're buying one on Friday. But dude, your boy was in a more depressed state than I've probably been in like 5 years. And I was there for about a month. And I'm just, trying to pull myself out of it, and I don't know what it was, man. Me and Jason were talking about it. I think it was, it's a necessary season that I went through, right? It also brought me to a place of reflection. And I realized, like, when I'm in a really depressed state, I also realized that comes from a place of selfishness, right?
Mhm.
Because when I'm depressed, I'm the one that's being a whiny bitch, excuse my French, right? And I'm the one that's, acting like a victim and that's expecting everything to come my way. Look, guys, in this life, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. If you're an entrepreneur, I got to break it to you. It's going to be a roller coaster, right? It's going to be a roller coaster ride of ups and downs and mountains and valleys. And mountains are great. Those mountaintop experiences where you can look around as far as the eye can see. But growth don't happen on the mountaintop. It happens in the valley, right? Because what's at the top of a mountaintop?
Peak.
It's very rock. It's a peak. It's a rock, right? It's a big peak, right? And there's very little growth and vegetation. There's very little trees, very little shrubs, right? It's very rocky and barren because the rocks and the rain, right, and the minerals, they flow off of the mountaintop, right, all the way down into the valleys, right? And the very rich vegetation and the growth, it's most full in the valley, right? Because again, the rain and the minerals, they're pushed down into those valley areas, which are the nutrients that the plants and the life needs to grow, right? So in that valley, guys, even though it might not feel like it, you might be growing more exceedingly than any other point in your life, but you don't feel it. Think about it. How does a plant grow? It's got to get fed water and sunlight and nutrients, but you don't see it, right? You don't see the growth happening. You don't see the growth taking place, but it's happening, right? It's like invisible. Same thing with our life, right? Like the work that we do in silence, right? The early mornings. I would say late nights. I don't usually work past 5 o'clock, right? My wife has kept me in check with 5 o'clock comes around. You got to be a father. You got to step in. You got to be intentional. Don't be on that phone all night, right? That's something that had to be put in place for me because I was a workaholic. I still love to work. I freaking love working, right? I love developing it. But I had to be intentional and put first things first, right? Because you can always make more money, but you can't get back those memories. So think about it, guys. The growth happens in those valley experiences. So that's just me like peeling back skins of the onion and literally telling you guys, like, there was the last month was a little bit of a dark spot just because business wasn't hitting. There's a couple really big deals, right? Talking about the multifamily place, we had 2 LOIs that got submitted, right? Like big deals and opportunities that literally could be like my first 7-figure profit on a deal, right? That fell through. But that's a sign that we're getting one step closer to really breaking through.
Close,
right?
That's right. It's close, man.
Yep.
It's right. It's right.
And we have this big deal, a big land development deal, right? I'll keep it pretty short on this, but big piece of property. It's almost 200 acres in Lexington County, which is like the better county in Columbia where I live. We've been working on this for probably close to a year, and the seller is finally, I think, in alignment, right? So her price for the property, she had it in her mind. She's an older lady. She had it in her mind that she needed 25 million bucks for it, right? But the way that she got that number was a commercial developer came to her. There's a 5-acre tract in the front of the property that they offered her $125,000 an acre. right? Because it's prime time. It's the only commercial section that this piece of land can be developed. So she took that 125 an acre and multiplied it times the size of the land, and she came to roughly 25 mil, right? And so that price is way too high, right? When we underwrote it, put it in front of our engineer, right? So with the land development deals, you know, we got some engineers here that work regional, right? That are very tied into the inner circle with these home builders. And the engineer's like, bro, I was hoping we could land at like 15 mil ballpark initially, right? But he's like, dude, looking at all the infrastructure, and we got to force feed the main and a bunch of other infill dirt and drainage and run the plumbing uphill. He's like, you got to be in here like 8 mil or less. All right. So I'm like, oh, dude. So fast forward, right? We finally got to a place where Carrie, our acquisitions manager, who he's the only person that can get this deal done, by the way, right? Because of his personal relationship. She's actually his landlord, right? But they have spent so much time, countless hours with this. They go grocery shopping for her, for God's sake, right? But they have so much trust and rapport built that he was able to have a sit down conversation, right? And really put everything together, map it out, and show her where we need to be, right? It's going to be our biggest deal to date. It's going to be a 6-month process, 6-month close, right? Because the land development deals take a long time, very lengthy. 6 months just in due diligence, right? If you're doing a land development deal for a builder. But I say that to say, right, it's going to lead to the biggest opportunity in closing and probably our first 7-figure profit, God willing, right? If it's in alignment, that's going to take place, right? But it's just planting those seeds, man. Planting those seeds, and just knowing that not every seed is going to drop in fertile soil. Not every seed is going to sprout up and reap a harvest. But as long as we continue to plant and plant and plant, right? And it's not our job to water, right? We're doing the work. We're tilling the soil. We're planting the seeds, right? Whether that be our cold calls, whether that be putting together our marketing campaigns, building our business, you know, whatever that planning season looks like for you, right? It's going to look different in every season and every stage of growth inside of your business, right? But you got to keep on planting those seeds, right? And in due time.
How many people in on social media? I'm curious. How many of us in here, by popping hands, is on social media using the market on YouTube? Okay. All right. So I've seen the key. How many other people on social media market? I only see one hand.
We want to see every hand up because you should all be on social.
Yeah, okay. You know, I mean, putting your stuff out there so far as people seeing you, because, you know, Ben makes some great point. You know, there's a parable in the Bible called the tares in the wheat. A farmer had a farm, and his farm was harvesting wheat, and it was tares in the wheat, right? And tares in the wheat makes the wheat grow. All right, George, tares in the wheat makes the wheat stop growing, right? So the farmers go back to the master and say, we have tares in the wheat. Should we take them out? And he says, no, let them grow together. Because at some point in time, the sunlight gonna hit that wheat and it's gonna go past the tares. So the tares ain't even gonna touch it and hit it. So what I'm trying to say is your visibility is extremely important. Now I know some guys want to do it and they make the connections, whether it's going to real estate meetings or meetups, things like that, or going to different groups, and that's cool. But in this game, if you're gonna make the biggest impact, and Ben tell you, I'm a guy that loves free. I'm a guy that loves the free. Social media is free. You have to understand, you got to put yourself out there to be seen. Like me and Kevin was just talking. If you a guy with numbers, Kevin, and you bad with them numbers, everybody in social media say that's the dude that could do the numbers. That's a skill. That's a skill. Yep. Like Ben will tell you, I use all types of crazy stuff to be seen, but it put me in rooms that I could have never got in, and that's God. But I work with what God gave it to me, and I let other people see it. You got to let other people see who you are, what you about, and how bad you want it. I say this a lot. I want it a lot more than most. And it ain't no disrespect to you. I have to tell myself that constantly. I want it more than you. I want it more than you. And if you guys don't want it, ask and ye shall receive. There's another parable. Ye do not receive because ye do not ask. You got to ask for what you want. You got to put yourself in a position to win. This is chess, not checkers. You have to play it big. Don't play it small. Like Ben just said, The shift in the market forced them to play it big. While we going, remember, monopoly is what? House, 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 hotel. House, 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 hotel. So even in the game, you have to evolve till it's bigger. And you do that by putting yourself out there. I'm the guerrilla CEO, not by accident. I'm the guerrilla CEO by design. Because I wanted something to ring in people's ears. That guy is different, but that's why I get what I get. So I want you guys to do the same thing. I'm gonna make a group and I'm gonna link a lot of people into it. I just joined the TikTok class, how to do TikToks properly. Facebook marketing. I met Ben on Facebook. I wouldn't know Ben without Facebook, some of the crazy stuff that I do. But like I said, everybody gonna be different. I don't want nobody to be like this. Be the best you, but you got to be seen. Ben know this one. You can't hide a light under a bush. It ain't gonna work. You have to be seen. If you're not, and you guys get deals, and I know you do, but just imagine the multiples that you could get if you put yourself out there. If you trusted your God-given talent to say, hey, this is what I do best. And it don't gotta be a bunch of things. It could be one thing.
Yeah.
Put what your talents are out there, and you guys can get it. I know you can. I believe in y'all, man. I believe in everyone in this room. Everyone in this room, I believe.
Let's go. That's golden. That's golden, man. To your point, technology is not going anywhere. Technology is continuing to expand. Social media, more attention. I'm sure if you looked at a chart, hours spent on Facebook 5 years ago and today, it's only increased, right? There's more attention that's being put into it. Good or bad, it's happening, right? That's a rabbit hole for another day, right? Just seeing what technology has done to our psychologies and human beings as a whole, right? The way that we think, the way that we function, the way that we're triggered, the way that it leads to making decisions, right? And the thoughts that we take into our mind from the media, right? But to Jamal's point, social media is, I would say, probably the most powerful tool that should be utilized in most of your businesses, right? Maybe not all of them. Some people might not want to be seen, right? And in some cases, people playing the game at the highest level, they don't want to be seen.
Right? Exactly, Ben. Exactly. I agree 100% because I'm dealing with some partners that are on higher levels where Wall Street is involved, and that opportunities where they sending me deals that have to be on hush hush, down to Mr. Wynn over there in Vegas. It's a whole nother ball game. So it's not necessarily all deals can be put on social media. That's not the case because they don't want to see their deals on social media.
Let me add a caveat to that. I want to cut you off, but let me add a caveat, right? Okay. The deals are a separate thing. The attraction of people that can get them deals is something different. You know what I'm saying? If you just say, you don't have to say who you're dealing with. Hey, I deal with high echelon clients. Let's say you do a Facebook ad saying, I deal with high echelon clients, right? The words that you use, the hashtag that you use will draw certain people. And I'm not bragging. Ben can tell you, I'm in a room with JT Fox and the founders and guys that I shouldn't be in these rooms with because I use certain terminology. I ain't got to tell my business to get into them rooms or find them people. So just because I get those type of deals all the time that I can't release on social media. So I understand what you're saying, but that has nothing to do with your presence. That has nothing to do with the two are separate. You may not want to be seen so far as your clientele, but you can attract clientele to you that may want the product that you have that you can't show on social media. So it's a scale there, my sister. It's a scale there. So you got to play it the right way. You may not be able to put the deals up, but you can put yourself up to the people to find those deals that you're trying to move. So you got to use different equations sometimes. You got to use different equations. I know my playbook don't fit everybody. And I get a lot of stuff that I cannot put on social media. But I can attract the people to those deals that I can talk to through social media that I couldn't reach before. If I want a high echelon client, what I'm supposed to do? Hey, I'm looking for a high echelon client. I hope they come to me. I got to go find them. I have to go find those high echelon clients that want to get those type of. But I understand we got to work within rules and parameters, right? But when it comes to yourself marketing, you got to make the play. You got to make the play. You have to. If you watch a lot of the luxury, go to Instagram and put up luxury realty. You'll see these women and these guys on a whole nother scale. It's amazing how they walk because they know they're talking to who? High echelon clients that can pay $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million. It's a target audience. Remember that term, target audience. So you ain't talking to everybody. On them deals, if you on Wall Street, you're not talking to those that aren't on Wall Street. You're talking to those that are. So you got to remember that place. We just my 2 cents. Not telling nobody what to do. Just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents.
Now, I appreciate that. I appreciate because these tickets markets be like 70 million, 100 million, 300 million
I
or
get those
more.
too, and I understand you
Yeah,
can't
and so
talk
it's just
about it,
like,
but you can find the
yeah,
clients.
yeah,
You can
the
find the
exclusive
clients.
ones,
Yes,
like
you
trying
can.
to find the right kind of ones on there. So that's why I don't really put too much effort in the social media at all. Work with my partners. That's
Yeah.
why I put it out there. It's
I'll
good
give me
to
your
have.
information. I'll give you some stuff I sent you to find some high line clients. And I use my digital marketing stuff to find them. So I'll give you some information on that. Well, you don't got to be seen, but you can still get the kind of impact.
For
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Thank you very much.
Everyone's
No doubt.
strategy is going to be remotely different, right? They're going to be very different. All right, I'm gonna answer a couple questions just so we don't fall behind here. Terrence, so in regards to the off-market deals received from brokers, sent a few off-market. Okay, so to bring clarity on this, yes, dude, agent outreach, building strong relationships with brokers is the play, right? Now, when we push it back, when a broker's information is right there on Front Street with the deal, in some cases, if I'm only working with a niche client, right, a group that we trust, that we've already done business with, in those cases, I can send over an OM, right? But, and we're doing NDAs, right, to protect all parties and everything else. But know that whenever there's an OM with this contact information, some of these big groups, right, they might look at us and be like, well, we don't need them, right? And they just literally steal your contact and go directly to the broker and make a deal, you know, and that 3%, 1% fee, whatever is negotiated and structured, right, is gone. And you'll never know about it, right? It's just, it's business, right? And it's the way that some things happen. So when Sarah responded back saying, hey, this is great, having the broker's info on it, we can't go back and like white it out or edit it. That's like messing with the document, right? And we don't do that. So again, if I have a very niche buyer and we have a lot of people in our network that we do trust and we know we can present opportunities like that, we can do it. But if it's a deal that we're sending out to more contacts in our network, because in our network, and this also answers one of the questions that came below it about international clients. We do have an international network, right? Of very high net worth people. When you start to see the multifamily apartments and stuff, depending on what class, right? Like people like us that are looking to tap into it to buy and get doors under management for ourselves. In most cases, we're going after B or C class assets with a value add opportunity, right? Because we know that if we come into these deals with opportunity to stabilize the asset, right, to clean it up, to rehab some of the units and raise the rents, that it's going to give us more equity in the bottom line, right? So that's our entry point for something we're going after, or some of these, you know, I say smaller groups. But when we're talking A-class assets, right, your trophy assets and hotels and, you know, very nice, beautiful 100+ doors, 200+ doors, 500 door, nice class A assets. Some of the wealthiest people in the world, they simply use these as vehicles to park their money and protect their money, right? Like when you're looking at a 3 or a 4% cap rate, you're not making money. You're literally just keeping up with inflation, right? But you're parking it in an asset that over time should grow in value, right? It's a whole different world and it's a whole different mentality and mindset that some of these groups play with, right? But where I'm going with that is it's really just finding that place in the market, right? And to kind of tie this up, right, where, you know, talking about our evolution in the market and starting off with the single hedge fund deals, we have that machine built and we have the relationships in place. I still got rehabs myself in the local market, right? But by being forced out of our comfort zone, it's caused us to tap into some of these big international communities, like it sounds like Shantine is as well. I saw all the Wynn casinos and hotel portfolio that you're probably talking about, Shantine, that they're trying to move, huh? That they've been trying to move that for a minute, right? But it's a very like tight niche international type of community. that's not just confined to the United States, right? So we've seen some hotels in different areas, right? Your Dubai's and like different things. I haven't ever moved anything out of state or out of the country, but we have in our network a tight-knit community that kind of communicates that way. It's really interesting.
Remember last year, Ben, I had the Orkney Islands in Scotland. So remember, I had that last year. So
Yeah.
you have to go, like I would say, like for international stuff, LinkedIn is a big play. You can
Yep.
find a Dubai group. You can find a luxury buyer group where you can kind of remember, you market where, okay, you fish where the fish are. Bottom line, the guy got the fish found in the water, he riding all over the lake. You fish where the fish are. So
Yep.
even though you may be on Facebook, that may not be the social media that you need to be on to find what you're looking for. So you
That's
need
right.
to you need to be on a LinkedIn with a professional profile. Make sure your stuff, that's very important. Professional profile, all-star all the way on all your levels, because the only one talk to the all-star. Professional LinkedIn if you have it, but if you have the free, and reach out to them groups, because it's at least 20, 30 Dubai groups. So you have to fish where the fish are. Most definitely.
Yeah. And they're pretty tight niche, right? In some cases you need introductions or anything else. But yeah, it's just building your Rolodex, building the relationships. All right. So to tie it up, I know we sent out the new updated buy box for single family, right? Because I know, again, most of this market, a lot of you guys are focused on single family deals, right? So to kind of tie it in and give us some actionable steps, we're going all in with this new group, new hedge fund that's really tackling some niche markets, right? Well, I'll call them medium-sized tertiary markets. So we made some universal changes to the buy box, right? So you guys should all have access to the buy box. The text we sent out.
Is that still in Investors Go more now Market Pro? That in Market Pro now?
Yeah, so it's in Market Pro. You can go to hedgefundpartnership.com. I'll put that link in the chat. Save that thing because we do our best to update that with any changes on the single family deals, right? So as far as the Wall Street funds and the other tertiary groups that we've worked with, buy box is similar. I do think I need to change the year built to 1970. There are some funds that still buy 65 or older, but for the gross, most of them have gone up to 1970, right? It keeps on kind of going up and they're going after nicer assets. We haven't been getting the best luck or the best bids with these funds in the current market, right? We got a new group and a new fund that we have a couple properties getting inspected this week, and the offers and the bids are better than I've seen yet, like over the past 4 months, right? So we're hopeful, right? We have a really good relationship and it sounds like our process should be pretty clean and pretty responsive. So it spiked us to just send out this updated new buy box, right? So it's a lot of the virtual stuff that we do. I'm going to pull some data. I'm going to go to PropStream and I'm literally going to plug in single family houses, 2-bed, 1-bath and up. I'll probably put 800 square feet and greater because anything smaller than that's a shack. Year built, there's no cap on the year built, right? This group is willing to take on a rehab project and they're willing to buy older houses, right? They're going after a higher yield. But if you look, here's the piece to pay attention to. Average deal example, 80,000 purchase price with a 40,000 rehab, right? That puts us all in at about 120K, right? Purchase price and rehab with a rent estimate of 1,205. Appraised ARV at 135. Well, if you look at that number, they'd be all in purchasing the asset, rehab plus purchase price at 120, and the ARV is 135. We're right about 90%, right? I'll say 90, I'll say 90% market value. I don't want to get too zealous and say it's higher, right? The two deals that we're getting inspected locally, the offers are freaking solid. I have not seen the inspection reports yet, right? So I don't know what that piece looks like, But it's one of those waves of opportunity that we're throwing out there because we know how quickly things can change and the market can shift. I also know how quickly a hedge fund can go belly up, right? Because they overspent, right? So it's striking while the iron is hot. We're going all in on this list, right? It's from what I've seen over the past several months, this group, as far as their offers, is more competitive, but they're looking for your entry-level product. Okay. We're looking for entry-level houses, entry-level product. Purchase
Ugly
price. Yeah. I mean, we'll say, yeah, ugly houses, but nicer, like, you know, just your typical rent grade house, right? These are houses.
Lipstick on the cow houses. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, 40K purchase price, 50K purchase price, 140. They'll purchase up to 200K, right? As far as purchase, and then they can have a rehab on top of that. I just kind of put the purchase price like as a median. This would probably be the strike zone, right? And this gives us a good example what to look for. So let's say that we are putting this into process, right? We'll just look on Zillow. Let's say like 107.
This is happy news, by the way.
Yes, I'm telling you, man, we've been getting whacked, right? Like it's been challenging on our side. All right, let's take this house as an example. This is like a perfect avatar. 109 Christian Street, Columbia. Now these are houses, just seeing where the whole market has kind of gone. These are houses that like 3 years ago would have been selling for like 60, 80K, right? But after, you know, inflation and printing money, houses have just spiked up, right? We all know that. I don't see the entry-level houses, especially in the median-sized markets, getting hit too much, right? I think we've established like a new bottom, if you will, right? But we can see here, we got one for sale for 140. Let's just look at the recently sold in this pocket, right? So we got some, these are our cash comps, right? 150, 56, 42, 55. These are clearly investors that are coming in, buying the houses at a discount, probably putting 30, 40K into rehab, renting them out, right? Your 125, your 110, your 129, those are retail comps, right? Where the house is fixed up and sold on the market. But the type of property we're looking at for that, right? This Christian Street, just being a random address. We got our Zestimate, right? So we'll say Zestimate. In many cases, if the neighborhood is consistent and it's not like rural, Zestimates are usually pretty decent, right? If you're looking at data across the board. They got the Zestimate at 122 ballpark. My guess is this thing might appraise for a little bit more, to be honest, maybe 130, 135. Well, that's tracking, that's in alignment with this, right? This is your exact avatar here. Well, this is an example. I know if I'm doing a cash offer and this house needs 40K in rehabs, I can't find another buyer unless we're getting it up, scooping it for 40K, 45, 50, right? And this group's going to be coming in right around this number. It's definitely something to lean in with, right? It's something that we're going to spend some time and attention dialing in on the hot markets for that, right? Because again, striking while the iron is hot, this is a low-hanging fruit opportunity that we're looking to capitalize. From my experience, North Carolina markets, freaking hard to find great deals in these areas. Well, at least Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, Thomasville, and Burlington could be a little bit more untapped, right? Because it's a little bit off the, it's not your primary markets. But we got some interesting one in Texas, right? Again, these are markets we haven't seen before. So they're kind of, it's new. It's new territory. And there should, my assumption, right? My speculation is probably a little less competition in a lot of these markets, right? Than a lot of the primary ones that we have seen. So when I'm pulling data, right, I'm just straight going Columbia SC, 2-bed, 1-bath and up, 800 square feet and greater. And I'm going to put estimated value of the property 70 to 200K, right? Or 70 to 230. That's going to be the data points, pulling the list and opening up the conversation, right? Jorge's had his hand up for a minute. Jorge, you got a question, or were you raising your hand when Jamal was hyping us up as like, I'm with you, bro?
I think his mic is off.
Mic is muted.
Yeah, I'm back. No, I put my question to you
In the chat?
but
Yep.
there was something else on my mind that you were saying. Oh, and that 70,000 price range in those areas, can that include the house totally rehab? For example, a house described as such, but needs complete, rehab, that's going to be 30, 40 grand. Now we're at the 70, 80 mark, but the rents there are about 700. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So you're saying if the purchase price is a little lower, like 40K, if 30K rehab, putting us all in at 70 and the rents are about 700, something like
Right,
that?
650, 634. But you're still in. Am I
Good.
near the target, near the bullseye
Yeah.
here?
Good. I would say that's a good question.
I saw your 40 price start point, and then it so happened I got a $39,000. I don't even remember. It's in it's in North Carolina, but it might be in the boondocks. It's in North Carolina. That's why I brought it up. So 39 complete rehab. Now you're at 70 with a rent of up and coming rent, but it's at 650 now.
Okay. So my thought is it's probably worth running it with a 650 rent. That's really low, right? So that they'll buy a lot of houses that aren't super great and desired. They do want to stay out of war zones, right? So if it's very like heavy crime,
I'll check that out. I haven't finished my due diligence today, and tomorrow I'll complete that.
Sweet. Yeah. If it's too much in the boondocks and in the sticks, obviously it's not close enough to, your inner city, if you will.
I'll tie it up myself,
Okay.
if I see if it's worth it. Okay. But I was just asking, when you said 40K and up, like in Memphis, Tennessee is where I have a contact, a friend, and I'm on the phone with Tennessee a lot, not in business, but the more I'm talking over there with a personal friend, I might as well look into that market.
Tennessee's a good cash flow market. Yeah. If you're picking your 40K house, they'll even buy a $25,000 house, right? I got off the
that's
phone.
what I'm saying.
They will. They like those houses. The higher yield houses all day. Let's run.
Exactly.
Let's run.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You
They like
answered
that.
my
money. Get some goddamn money. Get some
right
money.
now on the commercial properties that I submitted that are going to, you're going to put some feelers out there. That's the question I put in the chat room, just to find out what the update is. You could text me on that.
Yep,
on that.
I got you. Yeah, if
Okay.
we have no update, I think on most of those, 4 cap was like the most consistent. A 4 cap's going to be really hard for me to trade in this current market.
Right. But if all the prices are negotiable, I failed to mention in our last conversation, you make an offer to make it a 5 cap. That's all.
Yeah.
All the prices are
for sure.
negotiable. They're at that price, so it comes out to 4 cap. But that price is negotiable. Make an offer to bring it to a 5 cap, right?
Yep.
That's what your buyers can do, right?
Realistically, yes, but I can't force the buyer's hand, right?
No, I'm not saying you force the buyer's hand. Hey, I got this, it's at 4, it's negotiable, make an offer, to get your 5. Something
Yeah.
like that. That's you're not forcing anybody's hand. You're putting something in front of them that, for even a short price reduction that has a 50-50 shot of being accepted, okay, they get that cap up to 5 and they tell the people, hey, that's why we're making this offer. So
Yeah.
we can get 5. This is our
If
price.
If someone wants a deal, they're going to make a move, right? They're going to make an offer on it. I
Right,
will
but
say
so,
this,
my question is then will your people make offers? I mean, just because you won't, or let's say you're hesitant or reluctant to put it out there at 4, okay?
yeah, no,
why not
I
put
submitted it.
Why not put
I
it out there?
submitted it.
Oh,
We've
right,
sent,
that's what I'm saying. Right.
yeah,
And they can
two
make
of the
an
ones
offer.
that made sense, we sent out. I'll say this, Jorge. We're definitely in a buyer's market, right? So like the seller's market, the unicorn season that we were in for, that was the longest bull market I think we've ever seen. It's quickly shifted. It's quickly turned to a buyer's market, so much to the point where a lot of these multifamily assets, I want to say like 1 in maybe every 5 we see offered as seller finance or seller carryback, right? Couple different reasons. One, it could be a tax strategy and a way to write off some assets, right? But there's a lot of distress in the streets. And a lot of these groups, especially on the multifamily side, that over leveraged, not expecting the market to turn so quickly, that are in a very distressed place, right? So that buyers are kind of in control of the market right now. And they're all over, right? The distressed deals and the deals they could scoop up at a discount.
Look, in this conversation, we went from 40,000 to 50 million. So there's a department for that. So I have
There
a
is.
mixed bag and I focus, and then I got a department for, another price range of buyers, because you're right, it's a buyer's market, right? So,
Yep.
but we're looking for deals. And then you got the low, the middle, and the higher echelon, as you mentioned
Yep.
earlier. Okay.
Jorge, to tie up the loop, so we don't eat up the entire call. If we have an LOI, an offer, or a request for further information, you're going to be the first one to know. As soon as we get any nudges and any offers for any deals, any multifamily deals that have been submitted, you're going to be the first one to know.
Okay.
Elizabeth, what's up?
Hi, Ben. How's it going?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Listen, I just wanted to, I used to have prop stream, but I don't have it because I don't have a pot to piss in right now, but I'm actually trying to go on Zillow. So what's a quick formula to, that I can offer? I mean, should I just go off the Zestimate and then times it by 66 and then that would be okay for the max allowable offer?
That's a really good question. What market and what strategy are we going after here?
Well, I actually kind of wanted to go off what you just sent me,
Right
for
here?
the,
Yep.
yes, correct.
Okay. So let's say
So I'm
this.
looking at Texas. Waco,
Okay.
Texas.
Okay. Let's take a look at Waco real quick.
Yeah, that's Craigslist country. Waco is Craigslist country, man.
So Texas is a non-disclosure state, which sucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Just means that they're not going to show us the comps of what the house is sold for.
So that would make it a lot harder then.
Well, not necessarily. We can just go after on-market properties. It's estimate 223 ballpark on that. So let's go to for sale properties. And we know that our target is between, we'll say 40 to 200 max, right? We can't go no possible
Let me
way.
write that down.
Yep.
40 to
40.
200, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's also gonna, like, the buy box for the hedgefundpartnership.com, which you should have this link saved, right, in your browser so you can just quick reference it. I put 40 to 140 because that's like the strike zone. I can change it and put 200K. That's our max allowable offer. I cannot submit anything above that number, right?
Okay.
So if it was like a 200K purchase and a 40K rehab, that's something I can push through. But if I'm at 201, it won't let me put it through the system. So I'm going to basically dial in with, we'll say minimum
Okay, at the
40,000,
price. Okay.
and I'm going to go 200K max. And because bed bath counts don't really play a factor, honestly, it's going to be mostly houses, but I'll disclude these.
Okay,
And
do that as well.
that should open up, because this fund is so flexible and they don't care about year built or bed bath count.
Mhm.
This is our fishing hole now, right? If we're going after
Okay.
on market Zillow properties.
All right.
And here we go. For sale. 10K price cut. Well, this thing's like abandoned. Look at that. Shrubs growing up. It's been vacant for years from the looks of it. We do have some subfloor work. 1915, super old house. What is the rent? Do they have a rent estimate? I guess not really. I guess I could plug it into like Rentometer. I'm just going to guess, because of how distressed this is,
Right.
I might make them a lowball offer like 50, right? I mean, the house it needs everything. It's going to need new
Just to
central
get
heat.
rid of it. Yeah, man. That's a good number.
50 might even be high. I don't know, but 50 just to open up conversation. If we inspect it and it's really bad, then see, their expectations are way up here. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. Right. But they've come down. It's been on the market since August, down to 117. Right.
Mhm.
Never hurts to make an offer and just, try to open up the conversation. This one's, in my opinion, probably too distressed for me, unless we're getting it at a steal. Because you also think about the amount of time and capital to get in there and fix it up. Let's keep moving. Here's a house that's kind of in the same pocket. Looks like a bigger house. Clearly needs some work, but the bones look better than that other one. Well, yeah. But we're probably looking at, well, one, no central heat and air, probably old galvanized pipes, which is a big thing when you're looking at rehabbing a house, right? Because a lot of these groups are going to have to replumb it, right? When we get to the really old properties, it can be a little bit scary, but 90 is a little more reasonable.
They buying old, man. They buying old houses.
Oh yeah, there's no date, man. Like they'll buy any year, as crazy as it sounds.
Moving there. Ooh, that's good.
An old mentor told me, if your offer doesn't offend you, it's probably not low enough. Right? This market, that's the perfect way to move, right? Where don't be afraid to submit lowball offers. Right? Because a lot of people just need these properties off their hands. They're just sitting, they're tired of it.
Money. Need that
Well,
money.
So we're looking at 90,000 that they want, and of course, would I use that Zestimate number and then just times it by 0.66 to give them a maximum allowable offer?
So it's listed for 90. They don't have a Zestimate for us on this house, right? Zillow doesn't have enough data. But I would say 0.66 could put you at a number that it might be worth making an offer at. Yeah, because that'd bring you to about 50. I might offer 50 on this one just to open up conversation. We're probably looking at a 180 to 100K rehab, I would assume, right? Like, I mean, 1,500 square foot house, this thing needs everything. Now, if we're opening up a bag of worms, like replumbing and everything, it might be a bag of worms that no one wants to open, but it's worth the shot, right? Because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's kind of interesting that the first two houses I just clicked on for sale are like hyper distressed houses, right? Maybe because I'm going for the lower ones. All right, here's a cute little 3-1. Looks like it's fully renovated, pretty turnkey. We don't have a rent estimate. It's got the estimate at 121. I'd say on this one, if you multiplied times 0.66 or 0.7, might be worth offering them 100, right? 90, 100, just to do it. Open up conversation. It's all a numbers game. Eventually, one of those 90K offers is going to stick.
This is that again. He said, whatever the offer it is, think of it and take it down 25%. Then go down. Like playing the car salesman game. When you got the 9 and they turn upside down to the 6, same type of deal.
Yep. So Chantel has her hand up behind you, and I don't know if Chantel wants to give away some of her strategy or not. I'm gonna leave that up to you, Chantel, but her game is on market properties. Chantel, are you interested in sharing your take on coming in with some of these?
Okay, I mean, I have been doing off market lately.
Yeah.
On market, of course, I have the software that shows me the homes that are already discounted. So I usually go like that. And then, of course, I look at the amount of time it's been on the market. So I like to see price drops, and I like to see when it says back on the market, because usually when another buyer backs out, the seller becomes more motivated. So
Yeah.
I'll go for that. But the problem that I do come across with these, it's the agents. Sometimes the agents are uncomfortable submitting lowball offers. I'm not shy when it comes to that, but
Yeah.
because the agent is on Front Street, they're the ones who have the problem submitting the offer for me with it being that low.
Hey, but Chantel, so an agent under their listing agreement, it's my wife is an agent. It's my understanding that like lawfully the agent has to submit all offers. Like they have to put it in front of their clients. If they're
I
holding
get
an offer, no matter how low it is.
They're not gonna go for that. I'll submit the offer, but they're not gonna. That's what I get from them. And then, we do get some nasty emails from the listed agents sometimes when we submit
Yeah.
lowball offers. We've even gotten blocked a couple of times where they don't even
Dang.
respond to us no more.
Wow.
And then because I'm like the girl from New York with the 718 number, they be like, "Oh, her? Oh no, this is ridiculous." So
Ain't
some of
nothing wrong
them,
being from the East Coast, girl. I'm from Jersey. We doing things a certain kind of way. Ain't nothing wrong.
oh yeah, and I'm talking about I go in, I'm not shy, I'll offer a 10K offer
That's
if
what's
that's
popping.
what works,
That's what's popping, girl.
because
I feel you.
sometimes they're out of their mind. You come
Yep.
across fixer-uppers and they want over market value, so I'm realistic. And sometimes I know I'm right because I'll come back a month later and it's still on the market. So I'm like, see, I told you. So, but
Where you
yeah,
from,
it's
girl? Brooklyn?
yes, I'm from Brooklyn. I lived in Jersey as well.
All right. We carry the
Yeah,
feeling.
it's the
That's what's up.
agent. So it's the agents I'm having trouble with, besides the ones. If it's been on the market for a while, sometimes the listing agent will say, you know what? Yeah, we'll accept all offers, whatever. But the buyer agent, sometimes they're not comfortable with the type of offers that I want to submit. So that's why I went back to off market.
Chantel, didn't you have you have agents that were submitting offers on your behalf as well, correct?
Yes. So one, she didn't have a problem, but then I used another guy that, I've known him for some time, and he's on the shy side. So I noticed I'll give him 10 offers to submit and he'll do 3. And I'm like, all right, what about my other 7? And I think that he's shy, like, oh, I don't know about, I guess because he's used to being a buyer agent for dream homes. He don't know, like, are you kidding me? You really gonna submit an offer for 20 grand for real? So that's where I'm at with certain agents. And I meant to ask, are Are the buyers taking heavy repairs now, or does it still have to be cosmetic?
So, depending on which market we're talking, let me go back here. Let me see. So heavy repairs with this little niche buy box that we sent out to you, the text this today, we can do heavy repairs and there's no minimum year built, right? So pretty flexible across the board here. Now, obviously, we're going to build a process around it and get a lot more clear as we get more deals in motion. But thus far, it's been a smoother process than we've dealt with a lot of the, big, the big institutions. And they're willing to take on a bigger rehab than most all these institutions.
All right now.
Yeah, so it should be a good opportunity. It should be interesting. We had a question about, do you have to be a part of Investor Syndicate in order to access buy box? Nope. Public info, hedgefundpartnership.com. That's just our simple buy box. Everyone should also have a login. Check it. That's the buy box. There's even a submission link on there. And then if you just go to investorsyndicate.org, click login. And then if you don't know your password, just put reset password and it will send a password reset to your email. And you should have access to the hedge fund code. Now there's the paid side of the community for clarity, if you will. We have some different products that we have, like our specific training courses, right? Where Wholesalers Playbook is like the best place for newer wholesalers, right, to start and launch their business from the ground up. Hedge fund buyer code, that's free. Virtual Assistant Training Academy is like included in packages. But the Alliance, like the monthly type of gig, you get access to most of the training things, wholesaling land deals, multifamily strategy. We got a lot of different things, right? But my goal is to give you guys free access. We have a free wholesaling course that I created too. But I say that to say you should have access. If you go to log in and just put reset link, you should have access to a couple of the courses. You should have access to this. Can you guys see my screen? I'm not even sharing it, huh?
No.
Well, dang.
No, there you go.
All right. We missed it. All right. So there we go. Courses. It's kind of what I was showing you, like Wholesalers Playbook, kind of like the beginners launch and grow. Right. But in the login portal, if you don't already have access to it, all your emails, if you're on this call, should already be in the system. Just put reset password and you should at least have access to hedge fund code. And we'll be coming out with a lot more. So some of the calls, as we build out the multifamily section, right, we're going to have a lot more of the training calls that are going to start to be added to these, right? And the paid members will have like replay access and stuff, but we're still figuring out where we're developing the community. More of my attention has been focused on our active real estate business than any of the training education stuff, right? Because the market's shifted so rapidly that I've had to be like fully engaged in making sure that we're pushing the needle forward. Awesome. Sounds good, Ken. We look forward to plugging in, man. It's massive waves of opportunity, I believe, in the next 12 to 18 months, right? Even though the market's tightened and restricted. Like I was telling our core group, like in-house here at the office, I'm like, guys, I know it feels like cash flow is tighter, right? And the hedge funds aren't hitting as good, right? But the shift that we're implementing and tapping into the multifamily real estate, the connections and relationships that we built, and the training, the education that we've gained over the past 5 months, second to none, right? Like we've developed so many
Priceless.
strategic partnerships
Right.
I never saw coming, right? And I guarantee you, we look back on this season, and even though it feels like you're not growing, the bottom line of our net worth is going to accelerate more exceedingly over the next 12 to 18 months than it likely has yet. I'm going to be honest, right? Because think about it.
Brother. I'm with
The tide is going out, right? The tide is going out, and there's going to be a massive wave of distressed sellers for multifamily, for single family, for land, whatever asset class we're talking. There's a lot of people that are going to need our help, right? So it's our job to be able to come in and serve. It's our job to be able to come in and create win-win situations. And the only way that we're going to do that is by putting ourselves and our community in alignment, right? Like now more than ever, I'm telling you, the importance of coming together as a community. Like you can't do this alone, guys. Real estate is a team sport, but now more than ever, I want to say this, now you need to really join hands, right? You need and I used to look at it completely different. 5 years ago, when I was first in the industry, and I had a couple really good friends that like cued me in and gave me some strategic ninja marketing techniques, I used to want to keep it all to myself. And I didn't want to share my information. I didn't want to share knowledge, right? I'm like, well, if I tell people in my local market, you know, the strategies and the tricks, then it's not going to create, you know, it's going to create more competition for us. Flip that mindset upside down, right? I'm telling you, community, collaboration, strategic partnerships are what help you win at the game of entrepreneurship at the end of the day, right? So find your tribe, find your network, guys, and I'm telling you, lean in, because now more than ever, we need one another, right? There's a lot of sellers that need our help, but we also need our one another as well, right? There's times that there might be a multifamily deal that one of you guys has a buyer for that I might not.
I'm waiting for them to send me the
We got somebody. Alex, can you find out who's talking and mute it?
Okay, like three some a piece. I said, dang.
Yeah, 37 apiece. Oh, that's the only way they were signing. They weren't signing on, I don't know, 18 or 19, none of that.
Who's talking? Mute yourself. Usually the face pops up, man, and I can see like who's talking, but I can't see right now. Alex is gonna hunt you
like
down.
Ben said, y'all, the vibe makes the tribe. The vibe that's not mine. I forget who I got it from. The vibe makes the tribe. No, Ariana Vidal. The vibe makes the tribe. For real, for real.
Yeah.
And also, it's about the sellers adjusting as well with the market change. The homeowners, they're not adjusting to reality just yet. They still think they can sell for COVID prices. So that matters a lot too, because sometimes, you know, they're a little over their heads. So it's about them adjusting and realizing now is the best time to cash out, because it's going to get less and less as time goes on.
Hey, check it out 1 second, guys. We got a celebration moment. So those of you that have done deals with us or actively communicating know Sarah very well. Sarah's like the protein molecule that holds us together on the back end. She's a little workhorse. Well, she had her induction ceremony and is an official U.S. citizen today.
Yay! That's what's up. That's what's up.
Cheer her on, man. Cheer her on.
That's what's up. Way to go, Sarah.
Awesome. We'll do it. I'll give her like a little, we'll clip a piece of the recording and send it to her. I'm so happy for that lady. It's been a long time coming, but that lady she's a beast. She's a beast.
She's so tiny. She's so tiny.
Yeah, man.
That's what's good.
Cheryl, you got your hand raised. What's up?
She's muted, boss.
You might be muted, Miss Cheryl.
I am. It just took me time to unmute. Do you guys have a buyers of fire damaged properties?
What location?
in Atlanta.
Yeah, I can probably put you in contact with somebody that might be able to serve you better than myself. That's my best answer. None of that institutions are going to buy a fire damage.
Yeah, I know that. I was just talking about like a regular, just any buyer, like just yeah.
How bad is the fire damage?
I'm actually going to take more pictures. I'm thinking it was basically because the studs and everything, the studs and the hitters and everything don't look like it was damaged.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go take more pictures. So yeah, they
Was
don't look
it-
badly charred. So I just think it's going to be more of having to come, demo it and then go back in with like the sheetrock and that type of thing. But I'm gonna be more definite on what the foundation look like.
I'd love to take a look. We have a rehab crew in Atlanta, and if the numbers look good, we'd be willing to take a look. But
Yeah,
I'll say this. Our group is not looking to step into big major projects right now. It's not the season, right? It's just too many uncertainties, right? When you're talking like bringing a complete gut job and property down to studs. So fire damage, like right now, me personally, not a good fit. I know the institutions that we do business with, not the best fit, but my buddy Quan is a beast and he's in Atlanta. If it's something that we are unable to take on because the damage is a little more extensive than we might look at, I'd probably contact you with Quan.
I would love that.
Yeah. Shoot us an email. Do you have the email to our support team?
Yeah, I think so. But can you put it in the chat just in case?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I appreciate it.
You bet.
When you were gonna tell me that you take fire damage? I have one.
Chantel, we'll look at anything, man. But if we're talking like it's charred the studs and the rafters up top, I can't touch that. I personally,
because I have some where they already got the repair cost on the insurance, and so the repair cost is already there. But I definitely have one.
where's that one at?
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Okay.
You talking my country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I left
Hey.
you my number, Chantel. Holler at me.
Yeah.
I'm in
Jamal
Lorraine.
Ones do
Jamal
fire.
could be a good resource.
I didn't bother you
Holla at me.
guys with that because I didn't think you would do fire damage.
Yeah, holler at me. I got some people up here that fuck with that. Holler at me. I left you my number in the chat.
I'm not going to physically buy in Cleveland. If it's bad fire damage, my funds might not be the best. Connect with Jamal for Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Oh yeah,
I got
definitely connect with me because I have a couple of Clevelands locked up.
Let's work. We waiting on. Let's go.
Send me your email.
Just call me. Give me a call. I'll take my information. We'll text. I give you all my stuff, my Facebook, my TikTok, all that, my Instagram, and I'll shoot it. Okay, what's my number? 973-891-8757.
You gotta send me a message.
973-891-8757. I'm gonna put it in the chat for everybody.
Send me a message.
I did. I sent it already. Just scroll up.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to everybody. Chantel first. Chantel first. I got you. And you see, I'm still in Ohio, but I still got the Jersey number.
I got a Columbus too.
All of it, man. Columbus, Cincinnati. I'm out here, sweetie. I'm out here on everything.
Okay, I got you.
Hey, I'd like to take a look at your Columbus one too, man.
I got a Cleveland. I got a Cleveland multi today. I got a Cleveland on 241 units, Class A. I got a 241 Class A in Cleveland. So I was going to send that to you. I don't want to get through the meet, but I'll send it to you when we got here, man.
What's your cap rate? Yeah,
I'll
we're in
look
Columbus.
at. I just look at the header and I jump right in the meeting. I got it before the meeting started, but I'll give you all the information.
Okay, Columbus, I submitted that duplex and I don't know. I thought the year didn't match. The year built was a little older than the requirements. Ben?
Sorry, I had a small fire to put out. Not like a literal fire, but one of my rentals.
You heard me? I submitted the
What was the
duplex.
year built on that?
It was like 1909. That's probably why.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not your best play for 1909 in Columbus. If it's any of the new markets that we sent, we could play there, but yeah. Let Jamal work those ones.
Yeah, I will. I will.
This lady I call King of the Old Houses, her name is Mariah Stark Ridgeway with Home Investors. She gonna lowball it, but she'll get you in there. She get you in the door.
I know Home Investors. They were the first ones that trained me.
That's Mariah Stark Ridgeway. Like I said, if I call any other home investors in the country, my number goes to her. That's how she got me on lock. Good lady though. Good lady.
All right. Let's see. Trying to think if there's any other big or pressing news. Let me finish typing this. All right. Cap rates are we submitting? Nolan, for multifamily, cap rates 5% or greater. Single family, I would say 6 to 8% cap is probably our target. But if you're looking at the new targeted buy box that we just put out today, that's probably our most favorable shot right now. Let's see. Yep, sellers be on the moon still. They're adjusting though. We're getting a lot of creative finance offers picked up on our side. We've been slowly building good bit of rentals by just coming out. Everyone gets 2 offers, a low ball cash offer now, or seller finance, right? That's close to retail value of the house, 10K down, but stretched out on terms at 0% interest.
How many years been on the stretch?
Depending on the purchase price, between 10 and 15, I would say on average. Our goal, the main metric that we're looking at for that is the rent amount, right? So again, if it's let's see, here's one. This one's right down the street from the one that we're closing on. If the rent amount is $1,300 a month, then our all-in payment and principal to the seller needs to be half of that, right?
Okay.
So we don't want to come out of pocket any more than, what is that, $650 a month,
Understood.
right? We'll say 1,300 divided by 2, because obviously we also have to pay property taxes, insurance on top of that, right? So that shaves off a couple additional. But take the rent estimate, and so all in payment is half of that, right? Let's just say it's $1,000 a month rent. We want to be paying $500 a month in payments at 0% interest. So we got to just get on the calculator.
The 0%. The 0
Yep.
interest. Okay.
We just got to figure out how to get there, right? So let's say it's $100,000 purchase price. With 10,000 down, we got 90K left. Right? 90K left on the loan. So the seller's acting as the bank. In order to get there, we're going to divide it by the amount of months that we're looking at. So I'm just going to guess at 90K. Let's try 144 months. That's 12 years, right? So you just multiply 12 times 10 would be 120 months, right? For 10 years, 12 times 12, 144. I'm going to divide this by 144. To see where it takes us. 625.
Bang.
625. Right. So if we offered 100K on this, 10K down, and then we did 625 over 144 months, that put us in the ballpark where we need to be.
All right.
Yep. And I never like mentioned the word finance. We say like terms. Would you be willing to meet us on terms where we could pay you over time? Right? We give you a higher purchase price with that. And a lot of people like it. It also is helpful.
I like the brands, creative solution. That's a good one. Creative solution, you know.
That's also a
Go around
good
the
place
grand, still
for,
hanging in there.
and you always want to pitch like taxes, right? Because if you sell the house now and you get the full amount, you're going to get capital gains tax, right? But hey,
Mhm.
you sell it over time, it's going to help us out, right? You sell it over time, you're not going to have to get hit by the tax man. So just, coming in with a negotiation.
Then I have a question, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
When it comes to situation of recession, do you think it's going to soften up the market where the seller financing can be able to go through? Or do you think it's going to be a situation where they don't want to take 70 and they sit out? Because you have other arguments where they're saying that a lot of people are going to sit out. You got arguments where it's going to open up. What is your opinion on it, sir? Quick question.
So my thought is no one's going to raise their hand to sell a property right now unless they have to sell. Right? Like we all know that the market is down. If you could hold off 12 to 18 months from now, you'd likely be in a much more positive scenario, right? To cash out and make better money. So if somebody's raising their hand and they're interested in selling in this market, then my intuition's telling me that they're likely a motivated seller. So we only want to talk to people that are motivated, right? That need to sell. Obviously it's all a numbers game, right? But the people that are motivated to sell, they want to get out, right? And so cash offer, lowball cash offer, or the terms, we've picked up 3 houses on terms over the past month and a half that we're keeping as rentals.
Mhm.
3.
Even
Do
brokers are
postcard
putting out some of the
campaigns.
finance deals. So when you see the brokers doing it, you know something. You know it's blood in the water. When the
Mhm.
brokers are giving you big deals at financial terms, it's blood in the water, man.
So
Yep.
recession. So when it comes to situation of recession, a lot of these realtors going to steer their clientele to go to seller finance creative route. Mr. Lockhart.
Well, no, I wouldn't say necessarily steer. What I will say is you make it an option for that seller. Okay, if you're going through an agent, you have them translate that. Okay, look, this is the price we can get you if you don't want to do a deal this way. This is the price we can do if we go creative. So you give that seller the option. But what it is, like Ben said, you're going to get your price, but over time. You're going to get exactly what you asking for, but over time. And then it becomes a meeting of the mind between that seller and that buyer. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle. But like I said, a distressed seller, okay, let's use something that came from Don King. I'm going to give you this contract, we filling in late. It's almost the same type of principle. You know what I'm saying? With these terms, we're going to work, we're going to get you the exact price that you want, right? But over term. So what I'm seeing is with the creative finance in the larger deals, the brokers got to keep up. The brokers have to, I can't move this how I used to move it. So brokers, I get at least 5 to 6 a week that are creative finance deals from the big dogs. So you can see when they're doing it, like the smaller markets are doing it, it's definitely blood in the water, my friend. So it's a play. I say it's a bullet for your clip. So definitely get some creative finance strategies, big stuff and small stuff. So you got another bullet in the gun. That's what I would say. So far as my recommendation.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr.
Problem,
Lockhart.
anytime.
Yeah, that's golden. It's going to, so on the multifamily side, agents, sellers, brokers are way more receptive to creative and seller finance offers, right? Especially in this market where sometimes that's the only play that they have to get these assets off the books.
That's what I wanted to say. Read my mind. Yeah.
On the single family real estate, most of these agents that act like they know everything, I shouldn't say that. Agents are great. My wife is a real estate agent, right? Good agents do a good job and they serve, but some of their minds are more closed, right? And that some of them don't even know what seller finance is, or that it, right? They don't. And so most of them, it's going to be a hard pitch, full transparency, right? Unless your strategy, right, is going in with the relationship and selling yourself to that agent and letting them know what they get out of the deal. Because at the end of the day, the agent just wants to get paid, right? And if they're tired and the house has been listed forever, well, guess what? They're probably going to be receptive to anything to try to get this off the books, because the agents are in distress too. The agents need closing commissions as well, right? So if we approach them like, hey, and we build the relationship up front. Hey, Mr. Agent, local investor in the area. I see a recent listing that's up here, looks like a great fit for our portfolio. Love the opportunity to get to know you, right? And learn a little bit more about what you're doing. Because again, we'd love to continue doing more deals together so we can create a win-win opportunity, right?
Dual agency.
Yep. And then you pitch to what Chantel said, dual agency. Hey, if we're able to put together an offer here, is dual agency something that you would like to work with, right? Some brokerages will not allow dual agency because that's technically representing the buyer and the seller, right? If the brokerage allows it, well, that agent likes it because they're double dipping. They're making both sides of the commission, right?
They get the full 6%. Listing agent and buying, they get the full 6%. And barely, some of them making 3%.
Yep.
You got to give them what they need.
You always want to come in with the relationship first and sell yourself and sell them on why they should work with you. And if you could build that relationship first, then you come in with your offer and you let them know the opportunities that you have, right? Hey, we got a couple different options here. Obviously, you're well aware of this current market. It's hammering everybody. We're still willing to make an offer, and I can pay cash on this house, but it's going to be a lot lower than you guys might need to be. So cash offer, right? We might be at 60. However, if your seller would be open to terms, we can give a nice sizable down payment. We can pay you $10,000 cash up front, or your seller, and pay your commission, right? And pay your commission if they're able to meet us on terms where we can pay the rest over time. Is this something that you think that your seller might be open to? And then you just be quiet and you wait for their response, right? If it's a positive response and they're open or they're willing to pitch to their client, boom. If not, boom, we move on. Ken, you've had your hand up for a minute, man. What's up?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I came across this. It so happened I came across this the Zoom call, so I decided, to jump on. I've been wholesaling for off and on for quite a while, and been kind of spinning my wheels. So when this happened, I'm like, okay, let me tune in and see what these guys talking about. And I like what you guys talking about so far. I had a question in concerns of presenting deals to you. Do you have to be directly under contract when submitting these deals to you?
For single family?
Yes.
Yep. We prefer that. In very seldom situations, I can present some deals to the hedge funds and institutions, especially if it's in our backyard, man, and you're not under contract. We can take a look at the deals. Even like Sarah and the underwriting team is willing to help you get in alignment with the numbers that we need to be. I would say it depends on which market we're operating and also which hedge fund we're presenting it to, if it's not a fit for us, right? Some of the funds we can soft submit pre-contract, but we use those cards sparingly, right? Where I'm not submitting 10 deals a week that aren't under contract, because it doesn't take much to get blackballed, right? And be unable to submit because you tarnish the relationship. So I say that to say, we do our best to vet our partners and people that we're working with and just make sure, that they're operating at a good level, right? Sounds like you've been in the industry for a while.
Yes.
I've tried reverse engineering, submitting deals, and then going back to the seller. And 9 times out of 10, even when there's a verbal agreement in place and we've talked with the seller and really good rapport is in place, right? Just that 2-day turnaround to get an offer and then go back. From my experience, from us doing deals in-house, more times than not, that seller changes their mind, right? It's just, it's just human psychology. Like, you have a conversation, feels good, you kind of had discussion with price. Well, just that 24 hours or 48 hours of letting the human mind do what it does and, playing devil's advocate. Well, they start asking themselves, well, especially if it's not on market, like, well, did I shoot myself in the foot? Maybe I could sell it for more. Right. And then all of a sudden they ghost you. right? So
Right.
I try not to just like dump deals into the system because it can hurt our relationships over time, right? So I know that's a broad answer. We do our best not to.
Okay. All right. So more so than not, just make sure that you have your direct contract.
Correct.
Okay. Because I'm in the Houston market right now, and I don't know if you guys buy in the Houston market, but I had somebody presented a deal to me. Looked pretty decent for the most part. You know, I have MLS access, so I was able to run some comps, and numbers look okay for the most part, and I think it could be a good deal. You know.
If they're willing to give you an option, right? If you can get an option on it, then it could be worth running it through.
Nice. Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get an option on it, and then I'll go ahead and submit it to you guys.
Awesome. That's the play, man.
All right, I appreciate it. I definitely gonna be tuning in more with you guys and being locked in with you guys. I definitely need a tribe. So like I'm out here by myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Welcome to Investor Syndicate, brother. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love it. Awesome, bro. Yeah, let's get it going, bro. Excited to get you plugged in.
All right.
Ben, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you ever post the title companies for each market? Because I noticed when I go to unfamiliar markets, I'm still like I have to do extra research looking for a reputable title company.
I have not posted it. It's hard because things change so quick right now, right? And it's like one institution might be cool with one title company, and then that institution goes belly up. Patrick Brown says Blueprint Title. Dude, Blueprint, we've used Blueprint Title. They're nationwide, and they're pitched like they're online dashboard and everything else. In principle, it sounds like a great thing. It's clunky, dude. And then you got some like, dude, Amherst blackballed them. I don't know if you were aware of that, but they literally said, we will not do deals with Blueprint anymore. So yeah, I mean, Blueprint's nationwide, but we've had unfavorable experiences with Blueprint.
Chantel, if you're in Cleveland, one of the best I've dealt with is Terra Blue, Abby Lesko. They all real estate attorneys, great ladies in there. So if you're in the Cleveland market, I would say Terra Blue in Sugar Falls.
I locked it up. I have World Title and Pora. And, you know, sometimes I might have a seller that'll say, oh, we lock it up. I have to use my title company. And what I'll just do is I'll call the title company, you know, ask if they do assignments or double closes and go from there. But then if I'm submitting it to a hedge fund, I know they're particular. So I would rather have like a list so I don't have to keep doing addendums and changing the title company, because I open title as soon as the contract gets signed. So it's better to know which one to pick up front so I don't have to change it.
Well, Ben, if you got them, put them in your Rolodex, man. Terra Blue is one of the most tried. I've done proxy with them. I've done closing with them from here to Cincinnati. I like Terra Blue because it's just professionalism. Wire transfer, the fastest I've seen on wire transfer, Terra Blue is they really do their thing. Her name is Abby Lesko that runs Terra.
Boom. So Chantel, that's a good one. In most of our contracts, I try to put TBD as to be determined based on which fund picks it up and who it's getting sourced to. My buddy David Frizzell has a list of title companies. I'll track it down, Chantel. You've asked me like 3 times and I've lost it in translation. I'll work on putting that together.
But TBD would means I can't open title as fast as possible because, you know, technically with cash buyers, the wire can come in once title is finished. But if I put TBD and I got to figure it out and then I can't buy it, now I really have to wait, you know, for the title if I wait.
That's true. I'll work on tightening that up. I'll get you some title companies that we can use nationwide. I have a list of most of the markets, but not all.
I mean, I can find title companies. It's just hedge fund specific.
Yeah, it's again, it's difficult because when you're dealing with different groups, some groups require that we close in-house with their title company, and other groups are like, hey, as long as they're on our approved list, we're okay with it, right? And other groups are just like, hey, that's fine, we'll use them. Right. So when the hitters, the heavy hitters on the institution and who's paying the most is changing so quickly because the market's changing so quickly, right? It's hard to keep up with like an approved list, right? It brings too much chaos in my schedule to go track down those data points where I'm focused on growing, right? Money-making activities. I'm going to get with my buddy David Frizzell and see what we can do to put something together for that.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'll just keep, picking the title companies that I have. And then if the problem arises and hedge funds say something about it, then I guess I'll change
I mean,
it,
one of those things. Yeah, we pivot when we have to pivot, right? I say, keep on doing what you're doing, right? We keep the process going. And if we got to pivot, like, hey, we've got a great offer, inspection looks good, whatever else. And it's like, hey, that, they don't like this title company. Well, you got to pivot, right?
Well,
Nature
we'll play it out here then. That's fine.
Yeah, we do our best to accommodate, right? And try to serve like the contract to close as much as possible, right? And we do our best to streamline it. But when there's so many moving parts and then the market's going like this, whoop, right? All we can do is keep up. Cool. I got to run, guys. That was a solid call. That was a 2-hour run.
That's one we had in a long time, man. For real. It's a good one.
Solid, huh? Yeah, man. Tide is shifting, guys. Tide is shifting. Right now, the only mistake you can make is not having your line in the water.
That's right.
Telling you, just keep the line in the water.
The more money you get. That's right. The more offers you make, the more money you get. Go after it, y'all. Go after it.
Hit it. Cool. Good stuff, guys.
Man. I love all of y'all, man. Go get it, man. You know my brother. Always, man.
Love you guys too. It's Christmas. We won't see one another before the holidays. So you guys be blessed. Take some time to step away. Be intentional with your family. Step away. Be intentional with your thoughts. Take this moment or this season to reflect, refine your vision, and really dial in where you plan to go over the next 12 months, right? Lean in, set intention. Don't get caught on the hamster wheel, right? Step back. Picture big, right? And as you think big, you can break it down and figure out how to really be intentional as you step into a new year.
What's up?
So good stuff. Love you guys. See you guys on the other side.
And then keep me posted on that inspection.
I will.
Thank you, guys.